my fellow classmates. Today I'm going to be showing you a drag racing mod we do, which is modifying spare carburetors to run methanol instead of gasoline. One of the first things you need to do is remove your throttle slide and throttle cable by loosening this cap, removing the spring, and of course organization is key. And then once you get here, you want to carefully drill and tap this boss right here. On other carb models, it is used as a drain for your carburetor's bowl, but in this case it was plugged off, and this is the ideal positioning for taking your little barb and screwing it in here, and it allows extra fuel to be routed up to this power jet that we're going to add up here. You of course need to disassemble the carburetor float bowl by first loosening your bolts like so, and then it's helpful to have a tool with a screwdriver bit so you can just do this and take your carburetor apart fast. With it off, you can see your floats in here, and you can also see your little fuel. It controls how much fuel goes in the carburetor based on the float level. And then you also want to loosen your main jet here using a wrench like this. I believe it's a 6mm if you don't have it. Make sure to store it in a safe spot. Take your splash guard off, install it back in like so, and then you just pop it with a screwdriver like that, and it pulls out your emulsion tube, which is another item that needs to be drilled, and another key component to your carburetor, which your needle on your slide sits down in, and as you give it throttle, it meters the amount of fuel, hence why this needle is actually more commonly known as a metering rod. You then take an extremely small screwdriver and reach down this orifice here to pull out a pilot jet. It is used to control the idle of your carburetor, and that also needs to be put into a bigger orifice size. You also need to carefully get this pin out here, which I am struggling with for some reason. Okay, so I finally got it out, and the proper term for this, I had to think, is a needle and seat. So here's your little barb, set that aside. Here's your device that is controlled off of these floats, and a little barb that's up in there. This is the needle and seat, a very tiny, that's the spring to it, a very tiny needle, or jet as we call it, and then this part is the seat. And the reasoning we have to take all this apart is because methanol actually has to be ran about 2.5 times more fuel going through the system, and you can't get aftermarket parts very easily that can accommodate this. It's very difficult, so we have to drill everything. And then you also need to remove this, and it looks like it's an 8mm. This is a T-wrench, by the way. No, it's a 9. Okay. You want to remove your needle and seat too. And then we're going to quickly port this and then install this power jet. So after you loosen this, which happens at a quarter turn at a time, you have a removable seat, in this case for the Mikuni carburetor, and it allows you to set up your carburetor for fuel pump, gravity fed, turboed if you wanted. You could turbo these carburetors, supercharge, various other forms. Okay, we'll get back to you after we've ground this little tab off right here to make it level. Okay, we have gotten back from installing our power jet. What we did was we took the factory's vent hose line mount right here and cut that off and drilled through the carburetor to allow us to mount the power jet. How the power jet works is as fuel comes up from the float bolt into the barb, your setting dictates how much fuel comes through. As you tighten this knob, it drives a needle down and leans your mixture by closing off, for layman terms, a V that the fuel is trying to go down. As you loosen this, it drives the needle up and allows more fuel through. Another factor that plays in that you have to remember is your barb length here is what throttle position it opens up at. So as your slide comes up to about 3/4 throttle, for mine for instance, is when it starts to begin siphoning through this really hard, and then as you open up the rest of the way, that's where it reaches maximum potential and maximum volume and engine velocity at that. The only things that are left, you need to drill both your main jet and your emulsion tube at 120 drill bit, and you want to drill your power jet as well as your barb at 90 thousandths. That way you get a lot more fuel going through and don't have the chance of causing restrictions or leaning your motor down. You much rather have a jet flows through good like this than a jet that you blow on and blow on and blow on and nothing comes. Anyways, that pretty much sums this up. Thank you for watching this. Hopefully this helps you modify your carburetors for drag racing purposes or just to teach you, and I hope you have a good day.